Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, hi everybody. This is Jennifer O'Neill. Welcome to the show today. Today we're going to do a talk that's going to be on manifesting and or law of attraction. I guess it's not a talk. I'm going to talk to you about it. So the reason that I decided to do a talk on manifestation and law of attraction and such as that is because I have been getting a ton of calls, emails, different things, wanting to know different things about manifestation. So I actually put out a thing on one of my Facebook groups, my Soulmate Circle group. If you're not a member of the Soulmate Circle group, you definitely want to go to hawaiihealings.com. There's a button up on the right side that you can push to ask to be a member because this is a private Facebook group. So I put out a question on there so that people could ask me whatever they wanted to know about manifestation and that sort of thing, manifestation, law of attraction, and I would try to answer them on the show today. So I want to talk a little bit about manifestation, manifestation, and law of attraction. Before we get into, what it actually is, before we get into moving into like deeper subjects of, how it works or, how to use it into your everyday life. So manifestation or manifesting is the process of actually creating an outcome that you desire. So it's actually bringing energy together, forming energy, creating on an energetic level things that you want to happen into your life. And I guess I want to change the wording I just used there, because it's not always what your brain necessarily wants to happen. It's things that you believe that will happen in your life. It's things that you understand or feel to the core of your being that your life is supposed to be like, events, things, physical things, relationships. It basically is pulling energy together to create different physical things and different scenarios in your life. It's pulling and manipulating and moving energy. That's what manifesting is. People don't understand it very well, and that's one of the things I'm going to try to help you guys with today and answer some questions as well from the Soulmate Circle. So law of attraction, how that's different or what the difference between manifesting and law of attraction is. Law of attraction is actually one of the universal laws, and the universal law that dictates how energy is attracted to you. So when you're dealing with manifesting or manifestation, you're actually dealing with tons of different universal laws. You're not just dealing with the law of attraction. But the law of attraction tends to be a very popular law because it has all these really cool aspects that go with it that people tend to identify with, so they get really excited about it. And it also happens to have a positive vibe to it, so people always think, oh, that sounds really wonderful, and it has a feel-good feeling to it, right? So they love the law of attraction. Anyhow, they're different in the sense that manifesting is moving energy, the movement of energy, bonding, changing energy, and that sort of thing. The law of attraction is one of the laws that dictates how energy moves. So when you're manifesting, you're using several other laws. Now, I'm going to get into this in layman's terms so you guys aren't all confused going, well, I'm not taking a science class, because then it starts getting very confusing in how you actually bring it into your everyday life. But in case you guys are wondering, and before I forget, I got into this several years ago. Actually, I'd been doing this for really a large part of my life and didn't realize that I'd been doing it. And as most people do, or a lot of times people do with even psychic ability or different things of that nature, as I got older, it worked really, really well. And because I didn't realize what it was I was doing, I'd just been doing it from like when I was in, middle school to high school to my early teens or 20s. I'd been doing it for so long. Well, then people around me would always start questioning what I was doing because, for instance, I remember one time wanting new carpet. We were young, had a new baby. We had just bought our first house. I hated my carpet, and I really wanted new carpet in my house. And I had decided, I didn't know how it was going to happen, but some way I was going to end up being able to afford to get new carpet. And people thought I was crazy. And I never thought not to mention it to them. I just would be like, yeah, we're going to be putting new carpet in at some time. And they'd be going, oh, yeah, how are you going to do that? And I'd tell them, I'm not entirely sure yet, but I know it's going to happen. Well, how do you know it's going to happen? Well, because every time I think something like that, it always happens. And they just think I was like, what, really? Okay, we'll see. So long story short, we ended up having a really bad raining period, which I'm sure most of you have had no matter where you live. And it lasted for weeks on end. It rained and rained and rained. Ended up flooding my basement to the point of where the insurance people had come out. And long story short, the amount of money that they gave us because of the flooding of the basement was enough to fix the basement and or get new carpet. So I have tons of stories like this, and I'm going to get into this a little bit more. But so I had done that for a really long period of time, but then it got to a point where I started getting older and, late 20s, early 30s. And because of the people around me and because of the people that you surround yourself with, you start to go into, sometimes as you become an adult, I feel, people can go into a desperation mode where they start feeling like, because, when you're a teenager, when you're young in your 20s and you're just starting to get out on your own, you're happy with every single thing that you get. If you can buy a house, you feel like you're rich, And then as you get older, you start realizing there's some things in your life that you want to be progressing at a certain rate. You want to have certain things that are bringing happiness into your life, etc. And so I think that a lot of people, as they become full-grown adults, that they get really frustrated, and that's when this whole manifestation thing hits the fan. And then they start getting unhappy, and they start putting up their own blocks, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but let me back up a little bit. So manifestation, I just want you guys to know, anybody who's interested in manifestation, law of attraction, I don't care what you call it, doesn't matter to me, call it whatever you want to. This is not a thing that you do. This is not like an event that you do. This is literally a way of life. You cannot be good at manifestation or law of attraction or any of that if you don't decide that it's a way of life. And how does that become a way of life? Because you have to start paying attention to a lot more different things than that one event that you want to create, that one job, that one source of income, that one house. You have to start reprogramming your thoughts and how you think. So manifestation, if you really want to get good at it, it's a way of life. I'm going to get into this a little bit deeper, and some of you guys, hopefully, and most of you who have listened to my radio show will understand this, but some people may or may not find some of this stuff easy to believe. There are lots of layers of dimensions, and people don't realize, people are very interested in dimensions, but because a lot of people don't have any background in science or scientific stuff, or even metaphysics, they tend to, you ever hear that, be careful what you see type of thing? It's, not always what you think it is. You want to think matrix. You want to think different things on that level. Our reality, our physical reality is layered in all kinds of different dimensions. I always see 7. I see 7 dimensions, 7 layered dimensions. And you can have everybody coexisting in the different dimensions. You can have them coexisting together, but really be in a different dimension than each other. You can see each other. You can talk to each other. You can bond with each other. You can even, this is going to sound weird, but you can even have sex with each other, whatever. But you can still be living in different dimensions or different realities. And that's how I'd like you guys to start learning. When you're talking about manifestation, I want you to realize your reality is not somebody else's reality. And so you want to start separating your reality from everybody else's. If you really want to learn about manifestation and who does it well and who doesn't do it well, the people who manifest really well and the people who are good at it and create things that they want in their life, including myself. I decided a long time ago I was not going to live in the same reality as everybody else. I didn't like it there. I did not like it. I decided I wasn't going to do it. I refused to do it, even to this day. And that reality is poverty, not having enough, being a lot of hardship and that sort of thing. So hopefully I'm not confusing you guys. So in everybody's, like I said, there's different realities and there's different dimensions. A lot of the world, and not most, but I guess a lot of the world lives in this, what I would call like a poverty dimension. They live in a place of not enough. And people who manifest, whether they be somebody from Richard Branson to the woman down your street to me to whoever, we tend not to live in that same dimension. We choose not to. We're not comfortable there. And so when you start really manifesting, I'd like you guys to start seeing things differently. You literally have to see things differently. When I do meditations based on manifestations and law of attraction or just changing my life, I had decided that I wanted to see another dimension. I wanted to see a dimension that had a lot more possibilities, that I was more in tune with vibrationally, that there was more abundance in that dimension. And so whenever I would do a meditation, I would sit there and I would ask to be seen in this other dimension, and it's not like the Matrix, as in you open your eyes and you see all these different, numbers and strings and different things, but you begin to feel different on the inside because you begin to be aware energetically of an entirely different dimension. And so that's one thing that you need to realize is if you're going to start manifesting, people live on different layers. They live on these different dimensions, and the people who manifest live in totally different dimensions. So number one, you're not like everybody else. You're not like everybody else. If you want to learn to manifest, or you are, and that's the problem you need to get out. So if you want to learn to manifest, anybody who's good at it does not live like everybody else. They live differently. So you need to be okay with being different. You need to be okay with seeing life differently. You need to be okay with starting to be a lot more aware energetically with who you surround yourself with and the things that happen to you on a daily basis. And then you need to choose to live differently. Live differently. Not just think differently, not just manifest differently. You need to choose to live differently. You need to start feeling from the chest area, from the torso area. That's where you need to start paying more attention to how you make decisions in life when you're manifesting. When you're manifesting, you don't make decisions based on your physical thoughts. That doesn't happen. It doesn't work very well. Manifestation all comes from the energy. Now remember, you're dealing with energy. You are moving energy. In order to move energy and create with energy, you need to feel energy. In order to feel energy, you need to do that from your spiritual body. Where does that happen? It does not happen up in your brain, up between your two eyes. It happens right in the chest area. You need to become more in touch with your spiritual body and how that feels. Secondly, you do need to start paying attention to little things. So what I have people do when they first start learning about manifesting is from here on out, from today forward, anything that happens in your life that you may be happy about or not happy about. Let's say that you get a flat tire. Let's say that you get a promotion at work. Let's say that you came home and somebody cleaned your house. I don't care what it is, although I think about the house cleaning thing a lot. I love that. So anyways, whatever happens to you from today forward that brings to your attention, that brings something to your attention, I want you to backtrack. I want you to backtrack into whatever thought that you had about this particular moment. So, for instance, let's do like you come outside and, your tire's flat. What thought process had you had? I want you to try to make the connection. I want you to try to figure out, like a detective, how can you link your thoughts or your day to that particular event? So, for instance, I want you to go back and think, were you worried about being late somewhere? Were you worried about money? Were you feeling depleted in some way that you were going to have about your car, that you were going to have to pay something? Somewhere I want you to figure out where that feeling stemmed from, because once you go out and look at your car with a flat tire, most people just feel like, oh, no, not now. I don't have time. I don't have the money. I don't have the tools. And now I feel overwhelmed because now I have to call somebody. Now I have to get my husband home or my brother home or whatever it is. Like all these emotions start coming up. Somewhere those emotions were already in place. They just tended to manifest in a tire. And that's the thing that people don't realize. Okay, so let's do something positive. Let's say you went somewhere and you came home and somebody had did the laundry or, unloaded the dishwasher or had given you $20 because they forgot they owed it to you for, 10 years or something. So you come home and all of a sudden you're left with a good feeling inside. I still want you to backtrack. What happened that led up to this? What happened that led up to maybe somebody helping you out for cleaning or helping you out with money or any of that stuff? Most likely what happens in those events is you sat around going, God, wouldn't it be cool if I had a little bit of money release? That would feel nice. And you just you can feel energetically the calm come over you. You can feel it's almost like you're in a Disney World, or you're like 5 years old and just making up a scenario, that you feel the calm wash over you, like, wow, that would be really cool. And you sort of just get into a really joyous state, and then you just release it, and then you don't think about it anymore. That you don't get frustrated because you don't have the money. You don't get frustrated because you don't want to clean your house. You don't get frustrated, but you just think, wow, that would be really cool. And then you just let it go and you go about your day. So I want you to learn how to make the connection, because truth be told, your thoughts are all connected. This is all true. You've learned this. Your thoughts are all connected with everything that you manifest in your life. But more importantly than your thoughts are being connected to what you're manifesting is the feeling that you have. So this is where it hangs people up a lot. So let's just say people are saying, I'm manifesting all day long. I do meditations on it 3 times a day. I've been trying to manifest new house, new car, new job, whatever it is, and I'm really frustrated. Well, that doesn't take I can tell you in 2 seconds, if you're trying to manifest anything and you're feeling frustrated when you do it because you don't have it, it's like you have now sent out to the universe, I'm frustrated because I don't have something, so guess what happens? You will create not having it over and over and over again. Because the power behind moving energy is the feeling that you have in your chest. That is literally your power. That is how energy moves. Energy moves by that feeling that you get in your chest. You need to remember this like you remember your name, because energy will move with a negative or a positive indication to it. It doesn't care how it moves. It doesn't care what you're thinking about or what you're feeling. Any frustration, angry energy will go out and move energy in that manner from your chest. Any happy, positive energy will also go out and move energy in that manner. It is not created entirely by your thoughts. It is actually 99% of what you're manifesting is created from your chest area and how you feel, because that's how energy moves. It moves from your spiritual body, and it moves from your feeling in your chest. So that is how you're creating things. What really messes people up, and I'm going to get to some of the questions on Facebook, but what really messes people up is I totally lost my train of thought there. But they start getting, again, frustrated because they think that they know better. They think that they know better of, like, for instance, biggest mistake you can make when manifesting is think you know better than the universe. Mistake number 1. Think that you are certain that you know what's going to bring you happiness, that you are certain you're going to know what's going to solve your money problems, that you are certain you're going to know what job you actually want. You are certain that you, and what I mean is by being very specific. I want to work at company XYZ. Now, that is good in some regard if you're not necessarily holding on to that as your end-all, be-all, but that you would desire to work there. But if you feel like you have to work at a specific company, you have to have X amount of or dollars coming in by XYZ, by promotion, by I don't know what. What I'm saying is you don't know more than the universe. You have to trust the universe. And that is really what screws people up. They do not have a trust that how would the universe know what I want? There's so many people in the world. How would the universe know what I desire? Well, you know what you desire, and you are the one that is manipulating the energy from that chest area. You're the one that's manipulating it from the way that you feel on a day-to-day basis. So you are manipulating energy every single day from how you feel. So think about that for a minute. If you feel miserable most of your day, or you're miserable at work for 8 hours and then you're happy when you come home, for 8 hours of that day, you are moving energy with that miserable feeling. You are moving it. You are creating it. You are directing it. If you think about how much of your life that you spend unhappy, frustrated, miserable, think about that. Because it doesn't work where you manifest and then that feeling goes away. That is 100% opposite. What happens is you're constantly manifesting from that point. So you have to learn how to be in a happier place in your life before anything will manifest into a positive direction. So if you're spending, I don't care how many hours, 2, 4, 8, 10 hours a day feeling frustrated and unhappy, that is 2, 4, 8, 10 hours a day. You are spending moving energy from a negative, irritated frustration point. So what's going to happen? You're going to create more negative, frustrating scenarios in your life constantly, over and over again. If you're finding that, so what you need to do is find your happy place most of the day. Well, I can't. I hate my job. Well, quit your job. Well, I can't. I need to pay things. Well, you can't have it both ways. If your job is making you miserable, you need to find another way to not be miserable if you want to learn to manifest things in a positive direction. If whatever is making you miserable, relationship, job, any of that stuff, you need to learn and figure out what choices are you making in your life that keep you in that miserable state. Because let's face it, you are the only one making choices on a day-to-day basis for your entire life. You're the only one. Nobody else is doing it. Your spouse isn't doing it. Your mother or your father, nobody, your kids, nobody's doing it. They may request things of you, but they are not making choices for you. You are the sole only person who can make choices based on what you're going to do that day, based on choosing to do something you don't want to do versus something you do want to do. You are the only one. So you need to start there and figure out what choices that you're making to cause that internal feeling to not feel good, to feel upset, to feel frustrated, because again, manifestation, you're manifesting every day. You guys don't even need to listen to this radio show, not even 1 minute, for me to tell you and for me to be 100% certain that every single one of you out there listening to this radio show has been manifesting things your entire life. You've manifested things today. You will manifest things tomorrow. It is happening whether you choose to kind of learn about it and understand it or not. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me whether you learn about it, understand it, or whatever. It's just happening. It's the way it goes. It's the law. It's the law. It's universal law. It's law of physics. It's all of those things. And so before I forget, I don't think I said this already, but I did write an entire book on this because this is a half-hour radio show, so it's not very long. It's called Universal Laws, the 18 Powerful Laws of Success. You can get it on Amazon, and you can just go onto Amazon, type in my name. It'll pull up. It looks like a woman, with money in her hands. One of my absolute all-time favorite books I've ever written, the absolute most helpful book I feel like I've ever written, although people tend to love a lot of my other books, it's my personal favorite. That will help you starting to shift how you feel the world works. So before I get into some of the questions which I want to get into, manifestation is the movement of energy. How do you move energy? You move it from how you're feeling in the chest area. That is absolutely how you control your energy, because that is where your spiritual body is, and your spiritual body is what manipulates and moves energy, okay? So that's what manifesting is. That's what you're doing. You're doing it as we speak right now, but you need to learn that we don't live in a physical dimension the way that you've been taught your entire existence. everything is not just what you see and what's based on it. Again, if you get into quantum physics, any physics, any science, everybody knows the door in the walls that you're surrounded by at this time, or your car doors, or any of that. They're all made of energy. If you break it down on a molecule level, everything is energy. Everything is energy. This is not even a secret. I don't know why that they teach us everything's physical, because they should have, you learned in science class that the dense amount of the compacted denseness of all the energy and molecules is what makes them look physical. So I don't know why that they taught us that everything was physical, but it's not. It's all energy. And so in order to manifest, again, correctly, you need to understand that you're not living in the world that you thought you were living in. Or you need to just decide and choose, I'm not going to live in this world that I feel like everything's physical and set in stone. Everything goes by a rule of thumb of hard knocks. I'm not going to follow the rules that everybody else is in the way that I'm not going to believe what everybody else is believing. It's cultish thinking to me, actually, where everything is hard and everything works a certain way. You work really hard and then you get certain things in life. It doesn't work in that way. You've all been taught very wrong things. So get the Universal Laws book, and I'm going to go over some of these questions. I really don't have enough time during this show to get to everything that I need to get to. Except for that, I want you to start paying more attention to the chest area. I've been very happy this is one of the statements, I've been very happy since I gave up trying to manifest things and just focused on manifesting the feeling of joy, happiness. I do that by appreciating every moment as much as possible and allowing whatever comes. This is actually exactly when you make the switch. People do something what I call they make the shift. When they make the shift and realize that you're not trying to manifest things, you're trying to manifest a feeling. So if you want to manifest more money in your life, what you actually need to concentrate on is not manifesting more money, but manifesting the feeling that you're not stressed out paying your bill. Manifesting how relaxed you would feel. Wouldn't it feel wonderful if I didn't feel strained with cash? That would feel good. And then don't put a label on it. Don't put a label on my house was paid for this, but just concentrate on the feeling of not feeling strained when you go to the grocery store, not feeling strained if you have to put gas in your car. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that feel good? And pretend that would happen. Make up a scenario in your head and just you hit the lottery and just feel how good that feels. Because guess what? In that instance, your chest area feels happy. It feels, even if you make it up in your head and just pretend like it's an imagination scenario, your chest area feels light. It feels good. Your chest, your spiritual body doesn't know that it's not real. That's the thing, is your spiritual body and where that feeling comes from your chest, it doesn't know that's what's not real at that moment, because your spiritual body is not attached to anything physical that's going on in your life. It actually knows that there's no boundaries. FYI, as I get into this a little bit more, oh, shoot, I keep losing my train of thought. I'm just going to keep going on here. So the next question I have, let me get down here. Do you think people give up on their goals too early? Does manifesting take longer than most people think? Actually, manifesting can be absolutely instantaneous once you become very aware of how you're creating things in your life. And I'll give you an example of that in a minute. Do you think people give up on their goals too early? 100%, absolutely, yes. I do think people give up on their goals too early. But you need to have short-term and you need to have long-term. So you need to be understanding, what am I trying to create right now, and then what am I creating in the future? And then you enjoy what you're creating. So, for instance, I do think when on a manifestation level, I will do stupid little things because I've gotten so good at it over the years, because I really just feel like I live in a completely different world than everybody else. I will sit there and think sometimes, I am so tired. I just wish somebody would come and shut this light off, because I just don't want to get up and shut it off because I've been working all day. And somebody, I kid you not, will walk by within 5 or 10 minutes and they will shut the light off without me even asking. In fact, I do it now just for fun to see if it's going to happen, because it happens so much to me. I just do it to see if it's going to happen. And you want to know why? Because I have such a trust in the universe this is what I was going to say before I lost my train of thought earlier, was you need to start trusting something bigger than yourself in order for any of this to work. You need to trust that there is some type of other force out there at work. You need to trust that there's something bigger than yourself that is creating your life environment the way that it's happening, like that there's other things that you cannot see. You need to create a level of trust. The more that you start paying attention to how your thoughts create or don't create something good or bad in your life, the more that you try to make that connection that I was telling you to make from this day forward, the more that you will learn to trust that you're not joking. Whatever you're feeling will then manifest. And then when you start realizing that, you'll concentrate more on manifesting from a happier place in your life. And, you don't have to have money to be happy. You don't have to live a certain life to be happy. That's actually an illusion that a lot of people, I'm sure many of you have even thought about this. I'm more comfortable living at a certain lifestyle, of course. But as long as I have health and all of that, we've also had very bad economic times in our family's life, to where I realized we bounced back from that. You always have room to grow, and so you can always find your happy place is my point of that. So yes, I think that people give up on their goals too early but I also think that people should have short-term and long-term goals. They shouldn't just have all long-term. So, and you have to, it does take longer than most people think when it comes to like goals. Like for instance, I want to bring in, so much money a month. Like if you're having a money problem, instead of saying I need to be doing X, Y, Z, you can do things like I want to bring in $2,000 a month income. Like that's comfortable for me. I will be paying my bills, etc. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to label it. So you don't want to think that for instance, you don't want to label where that $2,000 is going to come from. It's okay to go $2,000 would be a good target price or target amount for me. Maybe if it's a little bit more, a little bit less, don't really matter. But don't put a label on where it comes from. Don't put a label on it's going to come from my job, it's going to come from my husband's job, it's going to come from this, it's going to come from that. Just allow that $2,000 thing to float out there. You could get an inheritance, you could get bonus income, you could get a bonus at work, you could get a job promotion. You could get it from so many different places. That really screws people up when they think they know better than the universe. People are stubborn. They are so stubborn. They think that they do know better than the universe. And that's why people get frustrated, is because they really want to create something very specific. And the universe actually, I kid you not, will create something way cooler than you will have ever thought of if you just allow and trust to see what the heck they're going to come up with. So, for instance, if you need, again, more money or a different house or a bigger place or a new car, or in a relationship, whether, love or whatever, don't just kind of play a game with the universe and just see what the universe has in store for you. Just trust and kind of see what's up, see what they're going to create. Don't try to spend all your meditation time sitting there thinking up every single way that you want something to go. You concentrate on the feeling. If you want love in your life, you concentrate, God, it feels so good when I have a companion to go do things with, and I love it and I enjoy it. And meanwhile, you find your happy place by finding companions and friends. You don't get frustrated. So I don't know if that was even helpful for you guys. But anyways, I have another question. Jennifer, if could give some positive affirmations regarding how to attract more money and finding a job. Again, here's one thing that I want to throw out there. I also notice that people spend a lot of their time wastefully. It just blows my mind how much people don't do in a day. Whether they're trying to find a job, not trying to find a job, they're at a job. And it is shocking to me how much time that people spend not being proactive. So number one, if you're wondering positive affirmations regarding, how to attract more money in your life, first thing I'd like anybody to do who's wondering about that is I would like them to write down, keep a diary of what they do on a day-to-day basis. And also, if you're at work, how much time that you actually spend working, because truth be told, most people, when they're at a job, they spend a lot of off time. And the reason I want you to do this is because during this off time, that's when people start manifesting. That's when people are frustrated and they have a lot of downtime to think. They have a lot of downtime during the day to think and manifest and be frustrated that they don't have any money or any cash. What you should be doing instead of just doing positive affirmations is during those times, you should be doing something creative, and you should be doing something that you enjoy, and you should, and many times you can turn that into bringing money into your life. And once you realize that how much time that you're spending in negative thought pattern during the daytime, and try to shift, you almost want to try to sidetrack your own thinking. You want to pretend like, if you had a 5-year-old kid and they fell down and hit their knee and they're crying and they're really upset, but you know that they're not that injured, and you sidetrack them with, hey, we should play this game or we should do this. You have to do that to your own brain. I swear to God, adults have to do that worse than kids because they're very stubborn and they're very stuck on the negative thinking train. And so positive affirmations would be anything that you created in your own life that would be positive. I want you to remember that. When you're trying to think of an affirmation, I actually want you to think of an event or something that you did that created something good in your life. So if you have to, think back to something good that happened in your life, and then think back to your train of thought that led up to that event, because you will be able to figure out what it is. And then I want you to hold on to that, and I want you to remember that you created that amazing event that happened in your life. And I want you to remember how much power that you hold and how much power that you have and what a wonderful job that you did creating that amazing event that happened in your life. And that's way more powerful than looking in the mirror and saying anything. Because the thing is if you look in the mirror and say, I have money, or I love myself, or whatever. If you don't believe that deep down, the universe goes the opposite. I have money, and you have a negative feeling about money. Then you send that out to the universe. I feel good about myself. I love myself. And then you look at like you don't like something on your face or your weight. Then you have that negative feeling. Then that goes out to the universe. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a repetition of creating, feeling crappy on the inside, and then sending that out to the universe. That's why I want you to go back to any positive event that's happened in your life, any positive event that's happened today. It can be from little as, it was so cool, I came home and my kids cleaned my house, to I had a baby, or to I'm so excited about that I got married, or to I got a promotion at one point in my life 10 years ago. I don't care what it is. But, let's say 10 years ago you wanted a promotion and you remember, God, I wanted that job so bad, and I just was really excited about it. I was like 25 years old, whatever. And you remember the thought process that led up to you getting that promotion. And I want you to realize that's really powerful, because that was powerfully manifested. And then try to remember how you felt about that before it actually created. And I want you to get into your power. I want you to remember and find your power. And that will gain you trust of the universe. And that will also give you an affirmation to move forward that you do have that kind of power to move forward. So I've heard many theories on manifesting. Somebody says, some say write your goal down 10 times each night, see it, visualize it, then it will come about through retraining your thoughts. Others say ask once, then let go. Which method do you find most effective? Definitely letting go, hands down. But you should. The way that people visualize, they're learning to visualize wrong. They're learning to visualize a very specific thing instead of a feeling. So, for instance, once I switched over to actually realizing what it was that I wanted to feel in my life instead of what I wanted to create physically, as in visualize on a piece of paper, my manifestation skills went through the roof. So, for instance, I'll give you some of my own personal experiences. When we had a hardship with money in our family's life, I decided I never wanted to feel that way again. I didn't really concentrate on the money as much as I concentrated on. I didn't want to feel that that if I went to the grocery store or went to pay for anything, I didn't want to feel that everything was so hard anymore. I just started just thinking all the time about how great it would feel just to be able to go into a store and choose the shirt, not because it was on sale, but because I liked it. How great it would feel to decide that I wanted to go out to eat that day and not have to go over my budget because I was trying to figure out if I had enough money to go out to eat. How great it would feel to just be able to choose where I wanted to live and just live there and not have to go, oh, I can't afford that or I can't afford this. And so once I started going, God, that would feel amazing. I want to live that life. I want to be in that dimension. I want to live in a place that I feel XYZ about my life that day. I feel healthier and like I have more energy. So instead of going into, I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to take these vitamins, I want to eat this, I concentrated, I want to feel healthier. I want to feel like I have more energy. Instead of concentrating on, I want this type of job, I would concentrate on, I want to feel useful. I want to feel like I love my job when I go there. And I wouldn't even pick a job. I wouldn't even sit there and anymore when I manifest, I don't spend any time deciding what I want to manifest. I just decide how I want to feel in life every day. I want to feel abundance. I want to feel like I'm making enough money that I can get some time off work. I want to feel like I can choose wherever I want to live. And then I just allow that to be up to fate. If that's what you want to call it, or the universe is what I call it, but some people call it fate. I want to be able to feel like I can take a vacation whenever I want to. That feels good to me. I want to because if I pick these things, I'm choosing just what feels good. Most people will pick freedom. They want to feel free. They want to feel love. They want to just feel relaxed. They want to feel like they have more time. Those are the top things that people pick. They don't pick, they want this guy that's 6'4" with brown eyes, or this woman who's, blonde and petite. They don't pick that way. They want to feel loved. That's how if you really get it down to it, that's how they want to feel. They don't pick that they want $10,000 in the bank account. They want to feel freedom of having to be able to have enough money to choose a vacation or choose a place to live. They want the freedom of choosing. They want the freedom of being able to love what they do 8 hours a day. They don't want to choose a specific job. I want to work here at XYZ with these hours. They want to feel like, wow, I want to go to work and feel. That was another one that I did. I want to be able to go to work and feel like I love what I do every day and that, wow, I can't believe I do this for a living. And once I got the handle on that, after I did it and then forgot how I did it and did it again, once I realized I just didn't care what the outcome was, I just wanted to feel different in my life internally, man, I'm telling you, your manifestation skills will shoot through the roof like you will not even believe. Once you decide that you just want to feel different internally, you want to feel good about how you look, you want to feel free, you want to feel like you have more time, that you don't have to spend at all these places. Once you master that part of manifestation and don't care how it manifests, I don't even care. I just want to feel relaxed. I want to feel this. You'll get it. You'll make the shift, and things will begin to happen. So you can put down goals. I personally do have goals as well, but if they turn out that way, great. If they don't, I'm fine with that too. So I really don't hold on into any specific goals, but I do have a direction. The goals give you a direction of where you're going, at least like a place to head towards, okay? I am really going to run out of time, so if this cuts off, I'm really sorry. And manifesting in your past, I'm going to try to get this really quickly. If I don't, again, join me at hawaiihealings.com if you'd like a reading, and next Tuesday if you want this. Manifesting, if you manifest something in your past, realize you might not want it to happen anymore because they take time to materialize. If that happens, like your manifestation skills, the universe knows what you want to manifest on an instant-to-instant basis, second to second, millisecond to millisecond. So you actually are creating in that very instant and in that instant. So if it changes what you thought you wanted in your life, number one, you didn't go based on feel, but number two, your actual manifestation skills will change. Things will change around you and what's happening in your world. So they will change. So don't worry about what you've decided in the past that you want for the future, because
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Black Friday is coming, and for the adults in your life who love the coolest toys, well, there's something for them this year too. Bartesian is the premier craft cocktail maker that automatically makes more than 60 seasonal and classic cocktails, each in under 30 seconds at the push of a button. And right now, Bartesian is having a huge site-wide sale. You can get $100 off any cocktail maker or cocktail maker bundle when you spend $400 or more. So, if the cocktail lover in your life has been good this year, or the right kind of bad, get them Bartesian. At the push of a button, make bar-quality cosmopolitans, martinis, Manhattans, and more. All in just 30 seconds. All for $100 off. Amazing toys aren't just for kids. Get $100 off a cocktail maker when you spend $400 through Cyber Monday. Visit Bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.